Episode 3 of Darwin's game was a doozy. First of all, we had Shuzua trying to find Kaname and getting attacked by 4 people at once, and she was just attacking the 4 people and was able to take them down. It picks up right off. It picks up right where the last one left off, with people having to get the rings, and each ring is supposed to have like a gem, and it's supposed to be worth certain points that go to your account and stuff, and you have at least 3 rings, then you survive. Yeah, and it's like, so Kaname's in this hotel all, and he finds a ring conveniently underneath his bed. It's a ruby one, lowest the lowest one, like 500 points, and it's just like sitting there, and then the Darwin game mascot comes on and basically tells him that he can use a virtual reality camera to see where the rings are, because once another player puts on the ring, it basically shows their location for the virtual reality camera. And so he sees all these players out there, and so he immediately goes out his door, and then boom, there's dead corpses everywhere that's done vanished, and he just is constantly trying to not run into players, and then he runs into this guy with a machine gun of all things. And so this guy with the machine gun chases him to the elevator and nearly kills Kaname, and Kaname is like, here, you can have my ring, just don't shoot, don't shoot. And he's like, dude, you got a gun and you're shaking to kill me. See you, sucker. I've got in the elevator. And then he waits for the elevator to come back up again, but before it comes there, Ren, the little information girl, is there, and she's like, don't go in the elevator and stuff. And he's like, why not? The the bottom floor of the stairs are covered in these like plant things, for another person's signal. And then it opens and she explains, because the elevators are trapped with the plants, and you just see the guy that had went in recently just impaled on plants and stuff and died. And so Ren and Kaname team up, and it's a really sweet moment, because Ren sort of um knocks Kaname out of his funk, because he's like, there's so many people trying to kill me, and she's like, well, you're great, you've survived four matches, you've won 4 matches. And he's like, well, all I've done is run. And she points out to him that in human history, our flight reflex is actually one of our greatest survival mechanisms, because when humans can't deal with danger, instead of being bullheaded and fighting to the death, we live to fight another day so we can get stronger. And so, Ren and Kaname are sort of like the same type of person in that regard. And so they know that there's all these plants around, and they know they're killing the people on the elevators. So they go to some of the upper floors, because they believe they'll be safe from there, And as they're going up the upper floors, they see all these outlined graffiti corpses again, and Kaname's like, what happened here, of all things? Did the plant guy get those people too? And Ren's like, no, he only got the ones on the bottom floor. The ones on the top floors where we were, yeah, as soon as the game started, they started killing each other. But here's the thing, as Ren pointed out, whenever the game ends, all the points of the dead player that they have on them are going to be redistributed to the living players. So it makes no sense for people to kill each other unless it's absolutely necessary. But you had a bunch of people on the top floor. There was like 25 or 30 people in that hotel, and a bunch of them on the top floor just slaughtered each other just for no reason and stuff. And it really shows you that there are people like Wang that are sadistic and all. There are people like Shushua who are skilled and tactical at fighting, but still have a cool head. There are people who will just kill, um, similar to Wang, but they won't think about the consequences. They think just because this is a killing game, you always have to kill. And then there are people like Kaname and Ren who realize that if you can play it right on strategy, sure, if the time ever comes, I'm sure Kaname, if if it came to it, I could see him having to kill someone, but it would be like his last resort. Like he said, his main focus is on strategy, out tricking his opponent, like he did with the phone and stuff, using information, using his brain instead of his brawn and just wanting to kill everything in his path. So that's very interesting. And so come to find out that all of a sudden they're walking through and they see some more players. Now this is strange because all the players on the top floor are dead, and the ones that are on the bottom floor in the plants, when someone dies in this game, their body automatically turns into a graffiti when they're teleported. And and we saw this with that girl. We saw this with that girl in the very end of last episode where she fell off the building, and as soon as she hit the ground and blood splattered everywhere and she died, she instantly got teleported. Like there was like hardly any delay. So Kaname's like, wait a second, they're alive. And so they started looking around, and those players had actually gotten back up and had actually started searching the area, and they've been killing from the start. And actually, it turns out like the guy's plant ability, yeah, for some reason, it's got mind control. So he's mind controlling them, and they start going around the building, and they're like, "How in the world does this guy know?" And then Kaname, it just dawns on him. In a hotel, there are cameras. He's got access to the cameras, and so Kaname starts shooting the cameras up like a boss, and it's like, "I'll go I'll actually kill this guy because all the other ones that he's fought have basically taken me on by themselves. They've never had others to do their dirty work for them." And then we get a image of the um plant guy as he's looking through his monitors, and he's seeing Kaname shoot up basically the cameras and stuff and no signals. And he's like, "So you finally figured it out, huh? Well, too bad. This is my garden, baby. I got this." Um, Also, one thing before I forget that before Shizua started fighting people and seeing and searching for Kame, is at the very beginning. Um, she comes across that girl's outline, like this had happened like maybe I would say 10 minutes after the last episode, and there's all people looking around, and they're like, "Oh, that's the street graffiti," and it's like oh, well, why is there blood on there? That's something. And then all of a sudden there's this pulse wave from somewhere. And after it's done, Shuzua is like, pulse wave. And it's like, they all want to go home. Like it's mind controlling them to stay away from there. So that's interesting. Another thing we found out is that um is that of course if you don't collect the free rings necessary, you will die basically. Sorry, but basically, if you don't collect the free rings, you die. Game over. You can collect more than free rings, but also on the app it shows you like a map, and if you step outside that map, you automatically die too. So it's like you can't escape. You have to do this event. And what's real interesting is now we get into the real juicy part of the episode. This was sandwiched somewhere in the middle. And apparently there's this high-end casino somewhere where there's people basically watching a live stream of this event. And from what I can tell, they're placing bets on who will survive. And so far, Shujua's in first place with mm, nine with 9 rings in total. So she's got 3 times the amount. Wang's with 8 rings. Um and Wang's clan, the Ace clan, has 18 total rings. And so it's just really weird because you got all these people and they know fully well that they're watching people die and stuff. And the manager is talking to this um I guess high profile guest, and she's and he's like, "Do you know what the real purpose of this is? Like, serious. Like, what's the real purpose of this game?" And she's like, "I have no idea, but I can tell you one thing. Our society is getting to where people are so equal that we've had enough of that people out there have had enough of it, and they want to feel a rush of adrenaline. They want to feel superior to people, and so signals and all the money you can make from it, that gives people a way to do that. And that is really scary from a psychological um center because most of us we wouldn't play Darwin's game if we knew it was real. Like a lot of us would probably get sucked into it like Kaname did when it first launched, thinking, "Oh, this is a new game, yada yada yada." But there are a lot of people out there that that they're like, because of the law, I don't want to do this. Or it's like serial killers. A lot of them, they're just your normal everyday guy or gal until something clicks in them and they do these things. They do these things, and then they get satiated, and then they go back to normal society until one day they're caught and they're like revealed to be this monster. So this could really happen if this game actually did exist. I could see a lots of people actually playing it, not just because they got sucked into it. I would probably, if I'm being honest, there would probably be 20 to 30% of players would probably be those like Kalame. They get sucked into it because they got a notification sent to them, and they just, hey, it's a free game, download. Especially in otaku culture and the gotcha games and all that stuff. Just put an anime skin over Darwin's game in real life, and otakus will get sucked into it without even knowing about it. But and then the other 70% would be psychopaths and those that feel like their life has no meaning anymore because it's just like things are. I'm not saying this, but what the show points out is that there could be potentially psychos out there that think that the world is too equal, while the rest of us are just like, it's getting better. We want a better world. But yeah, I thought that was interesting because that manager woman, she seemed like she had a bit of a yandere streak to her too, and she also mentioned how she liked Shigeru because she's strong, she's cruel, she's independent, she's got good skills, and it's just like, oh, you see yourself in her, don't you? You wish you could play this game, don't lie. But anyway, I think that's it for this video. Subscribe and leave a like. And if you subscribe, please type down in the comments subscribed. And if you want, you can send me prayer requests. Just text in the comments, hey, I'm having a bad day at school or a bad day at work. Could you pray for me about school or work or home or whatever? Don't get too detailed. Just give me a general gist of everything and I'll pray for you. Anyway, speaking of prayer, let's say our own dear Lord, I thank you for this day and I thank you for everything you give me, God. Lord, I pray that lots of subscribers will come to this channel and lots of people will have fun, Lord, and enjoy this video and keep us all safe and forgive me for all my sins. In Jesus' name, pray. Amen. Bye, guys and gals. See you later.